It's time for the Rundown with Rob Sanders.
We're waiting.
Welcome into the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us today. Appreciate it as always. This is the jump-off point for your weekend, ladies and gentlemen. I understand some of you are sitting in those cubicles and you're thinking, you know what? I just have to listen to this chunky fool here for about an hour. Maybe I'll get me 30 minutes of Clemson Sports Talk with Walton Swan, and then I get to get into my car and I get to go home for the weekend. It is a picture-perfect day out there in South Carolina. And as far as the weather goes, we don't have thunderstorms and all that nonsense that are messing with us. We'll have weather reports for you as always here on the show, but it is beautiful and people are going to be spending some time outside. Good luck with all that. Before we get there though, this is your jumping point. I promised someone that I would do USFL picks, which meant that I had to find the USFL schedule. Yeah, we'll do some USFL picks. But I want to lead off the show with a bold prediction. Yes, we talk about bold predictions all the time. And I was going to talk about the spring games and all the different spring games that are out there and how this weekend is going to be a weekend that is huge on the transfer portal front. But I got to thinking about something. I read an article on SI.com, and it was about Matt Luke, who was the former Georgia offensive line coach. I believe that's what he did for Georgia. This is a guy that was a head coach at Ole Miss. This is a guy that, got a big payout from Ole Miss, is 45 years old, so it's not like he's ancient, and he basically quit coaching. Now, I know you're asking me, well, Rob, why are you telling us about that? I'm telling you this because there was probably a market for Matt Luke out there. And, he decided he didn't want to do it. The hours are too long. The recruiting is too hard. And he decided, hey, I don't want to do it. And you know what? To each his own. Papa B online says Luke is a first name. Changed my mind. Guys with girls' names, that gets me sometimes. But anyway, but I think about that, and I think about, all right, look, this guy's 45. He decided, hey, it's just with the transfer portal, and he talked about that in the article, and the fact that not only do you have to recruit new kids to come in, or new athletes, whatever it is you want to call them, you also have to recruit to keep your guys on your team. So it's a two-pronged process right now. So just getting the guys there and keeping them there is one thing. Then you have to do what is supposed to be your actual job, which is scheming and putting things together to beat opponents every weekend. But you also have to legitimately babysit some of these kids, make sure they go to class, make sure it really is an interesting job. And it's a tough job. But I give you Matt Luke, because then you transfer that into the next thing that we're talking about, and that is at Villanova with Coach Wright. Coach Wright is 60 years old and has decided, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to work. And he said, I've lost my competitive edge. Well, you know why you lose your competitive edge? Because it's harder to win now. It really, really is harder to win now. Because you have to keep the kids there, and the kids can literally tell you, you're not going to play me. I'm not going to be your number one spot here. Guess what? I'm leaving. Bye. They don't care about your feelings. They don't. All they want is to play. And they have people that are advising them that, let's be honest, they don't know what they're talking about. They really don't. All their mentality is, man, you better go and get what's yours. You know what? You are better than the starting quarterback that's there. Why are you not starting? This coach can't figure out what to do with you. He's not utilizing your talent correctly. These are all the things that are being told to some of these kids. And once again, a lot of them really probably don't know a lot about football in general. I would think the only family that could advise and possibly that actually knows what's going on that I could think of off the top of my head, Arch Manning, Lord only knows where he's going to end up. He's got a laundry list of offers to go pretty much wherever he wants to go. But that guy has a ton of people that have played football and know what football is and can tell him, look, this is what you're getting into. But a family friend that didn't play football at all, they don't really have the knowledge that some of these guys have. So a lot of these kids are getting bad advice. And in the end, it comes back on you as the coach. It's just the way that it is. Now, so with that, my bold prediction today, and this is just a vibe that I've got on April the 22nd of 2022, it's a two-pronged thing here. I think Alabama wins the national title and Nick Saban rides off into the sunset. Yep, just the more and more I think about it, I think Alabama has the best offensive player in the country in Bryce Young and the best defensive player in the country in Will Anderson. And I think they're going to be outstanding. They're going to be really, really good. The only game I think they'll have issues with will be Georgia in the SEC championship game. And whoever they end up playing in the playoff, if they get past Georgia, that's it. I think Alabama wins and Nick Saban rides off into the sunset. He's 70 years old, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not the way things are now are not the way that they used to be. And Nick Saban can evolve. He's one of those guys. He can do that. He can figure out the new ways and work it to where he could keep Alabama at at near the top. I'm not denying that at all. I'm just saying that I think Alabama's going to win the national title and Nick Saban will ride off into the sunset. What more could he do? Think about it. Go out and leave on top? I think that's just the way that it's going to happen this season. And I think it's going to come down to the thing that took down Nick Saban was not the Georgia Bulldogs, was not the LSU Tigers. It was NIL and the transfer portal. I think that's what's taken down Nick Saban. I think he'll coach this season and he'll head off to West Virginia or wherever it is that he wants to go. Brandon says, or South Carolina in the SEC championship game. Brandon's got high hopes for his Gamecocks. That's fine. We like that. Papa B says, you taking Bryce Young or Will Anderson with the number one pick? That is a very solid question, sir. If you're telling me I can have one or the other, I mean, man, that would be tough. All right, 803-978-1832. We'll revisit that question in a moment. Let's go out to the phones. Welcome into the rundown. Good afternoon.
Before Hollywood or Billy or any other of your mental midgets you have trained to call in this show and offer some sorry excuse for a take.
Okay.
Might I just say, sir,
what?
Congratulations for going out on a limb and predicting that Alabama, of all teams, just might win the national title, sir.
Well,
you know,
sir, respectfully,
you should win some type of Medal of Honor.
Right.
For
respectfully, you've just shown your ignorance because you didn't listen to the first 8 minutes where I talked about how the coaching system has completely changed, and that's what's going to take Nick Saban down.
Yeah, why would I?
Because you need to be more educated because you're not. You think Jimbo Fisher's a good coach, so you really need to be more educated. You should listen to more of what I say.
The guy with a national title is a good coach? Yeah, why would I think that? I'm crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll wait.
He's not a good coach at Texas A&M, though. 8-4. How'd that work out for you? 8-4.
Yeah, what league is he in? What league are you in? Your Clemson Rock Rubbers?
Do we really want to talk about that? You want to get into that?
Yeah, absolutely we do, sir.
We can go into that all you want. Here's what I know. I know that he has a 500 record against the Pirate, and the Pirate can't hold his sentences together. The Pirate wants
Yeah.
to talk to you about what cotton candy and everything else at Halloween. He can't beat
Yeah.
the Pirate on a consistent basis. So
Mhm.
you're bringing Jimbo Fisher as your guy? I thought you were
Yeah,
a Georgia fan, by the way. Shouldn't you be
speaking
calling
of
up and telling
Halloween-
me? Shouldn't you be telling me about how great Georgia is? We've talked about this before.
You mean the reigning national champs? Yeah,
Reigning
I'm pretty
national
sure it's pretty
champs.
clear.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're-
Okay.
They're the
Speaking of
reigning national
Halloween,
champs. Hold on.
That is the end of the ball game. Final score, Georgia 33, Alabama 18.
There you go. Eli Gold giving you the title, and you still want to talk about Texas A&M.
Yeah. Speaking of Halloween,
Sure.
Congratulations to the Rock Rubbers in the armpit of South Carolina for stealing Charlie Brown's Halloween football uniform, by the way. That putrid orange is a joke. But I digress, sir.
Okay.
Let's hear more of your brilliant take about how maybe the best team in the last century of college football just might win that national title. And then when they do, you'll look like a genius. After last year, you said that Clemson was going to crush Kirby Smart because,
Yep.
quote, he hasn't won crap. We'll say,
And he
we'll
hasn't.
substitute the word.
Until last year, he hadn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No playoff wins, no SEC wins, no SEC
Yeah, he hasn't-
championships.
Up until then,
Yeah,
he hadn't really
none of
done
that
anything.
matters.
None of that matters.
Yeah, none of that matters.
Nope.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So let me ask you this: when he reels off the next four, and that
Are
Athens
you? Hold on.
dynasty,
Slow down. Are you saying that Georgia's going to win the next 4 national titles? Do you want to put that on the
I'm
bookcase of
not-
accountability, or do you want to
I'm
walk
not
that back?
saying-
Should I play Michael Jackson music so you can walk that back, sir? I want to see that moonwalk. Make it go.
What would you prefer?
I want to see you
Thriller.
moonwalk. I want to see. No.
Thriller, Eddie,
Yours
okay?
is going to be Beat It or Black and White. That's the two that you're going to moonwalk to. One or the other.
What was the first option?
Beat It.
Every time I hear the word "beat it," I think about you for some reason.
Of course it is.
Call me crazy.
Will you wear the sparkly glove?
Yeah.
Okay.
Once again, I think about you for some reason.
Of course you do.
By the way, is there some mental disorder going around South Carolina where speech impediments are contagious? I still think you're having trouble pronouncing my name all of a sudden. I don't really get that.
I've pronounced your name correctly all the time. It's Peg and Megan. I've said it forever. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. I don't know if that started with Strom Thurmond up there in the armpit of the South, but there's something not quite right.
I will not sit idly by and let you beat up Strom Thurmond. Everybody loved old Strom.
Oh, not quite everybody.
Not quite everybody.
Yeah, I like the guy, but there's some media who don't.
Yeah.
But
well,
sir,
what's wrong with Peg and Megan? That's a great name for you. It's a great name for you.
Yeah, for those listeners who don't know what the word pagan means, all I'll say is do your research. Rob is being very immature. It's a shame. But
yeah, I'm being immature, and you made your name after a coach's wife that kissed a bunch of players. Please walk back that, sir. You named yourself after a coach's wife who smooched players on a bus, and then put a verb in front of it. But I'm the immature one. Okay. Okay.
Now's when you play Beat It, Rob.
Yeah, you should beat it and get the hell out of here.
43-18, sir.
Have a great weekend. Goodness gracious, with Peg and Megan today. Man. Anyway, that guy, I don't know. Here's the thing with him. He calls up the show and he runs down our fine state, runs down people that are from our fine state, and then wants to talk about how great Texas A&M is. They won't let him in Texas. He gets to the state line, they're going to see the blue jeans he's wearing and tell him, get the hell out of here. They're not going to allow that. You look like one of those Florida Georgia line guys. We don't allow that here in Texas. How can he be a Texas A&M fan? I don't get it. I really don't. He's also a Florida fan that tells us that he lives in Jacksonville. Or no, where is it? It's Gainesville. How are you a Georgia fan and you live in Gainesville? Were you just wanting to get beat up in school? I don't get it. That guy, he's all over the place. I don't get it. 803-978-1832. If you want to respond to Peg and Megan there, we'll be happy to take those calls. I've also got some quarterback battles, but I stand by what I said. I think if Alabama wins the national title, and I think that they will, I think Nick Saban's going to retire. Uncle Lou checks in on the show. He says, whose offensive line is worse, Alabama or Clemson? Clemson by a country mile, sir. Although there are going to be people that talk about Alabama and their offensive line and the ability to protect, but the Clemson offensive line has got some issues. So, yeah, you watch the spring game, and I know that not everybody played, but the Clemson offensive line, Dabo Swinney's I don't think that Clemson's had an offensive lineman picked higher than the third round in the Swinney era, if I remember correctly. Isaiah Battle got into trouble. He would have been a guy that if he would have stayed and done what he was supposed to do, they did use a pick on him in the conditional draft, but Clemson doesn't get great offensive linemen. They just don't. So I don't see them as having that great O-line. I know where Uncle Lou's trying to go there, but if you ask me one or the other, it's kind of hard because Coach Caldwell retired. I wonder if Coach Caldwell was asked to go. Hey, Coach, you should just retire. Yeah, come on, we'll give you an administrative job. He was a former coach at Vanderbilt, was a good offensive line coach, but that was one of the weaknesses for the Clemson football team last year. Really was. Coach Austin is going to have to revamp that unit. And I don't really know how you revamp it except for the old Oliver Purnell story, which was Oliver Purnell coached at Clemson for a while and they couldn't hit free throws. And he says, how do you fix that? He said, recruiting. That's how you fix the Clemson offensive line. They did get Tristan Lay, who was well thought of. I don't know how well he's going to work out. But we've gotten to a point, too, where there aren't a whole lot of offensive linemen that are out there that, an offensive lineman, in my opinion, has to have an attitude. You have to get up there and say, you know what, I'm going to knock you into next month. We don't have a lot of guys like that anymore. But there you go. Uncle Lou off the top rope. Do any of Dabo's kids play on the offensive line? No, sir. They are holders. That's what they do. Very good there. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown this afternoon. We'll talk about some quarterback battles. And we got the list of spring games that are happening this weekend. Florida player announces that they are going to enter the transfer portal. We'll look at LSU spring game, all kind of stuff. Oh, and USFL picks for you gambling degenerates out there. You're betting on, the Birmingham Stallions, the Tampa Bay Bandits. You're betting on those. I'll give you my picks on that when we come back. They're basically Birmingham A, B, C, and D. They just give them other state names. All the games are played in Birmingham. It's an illusion that they're the Michigan Maulers or whatever it is they're called. All right, 803-978-1832. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take your calls. And we'll run into some more of this stuff here on the Rundown. I'm on Twitter at Rob Sounds Good. Please follow me there. And we'll talk a little bit about some NFL draft stuff next week. When Levon Kirkland joins us, he's going to give us his mock draft next week. So looking forward to that. More of the Rundown when we come back. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. I don't know about Clemson playing the Klubnik. We'll have to see on that one. I've heard the Panthers are getting Baker Mayfield. Jimmy with the comment of the day, betting on the USFL and taking advice from Rob is a recipe for losing. You are correct, sir. You're absolutely correct. Don't take my picks seriously. Justin asked me to pick the games. I told him that I would. So there you go. We can do some hot seat talk if you want. I've got some of the hot seat jobs up here. We could do that. You know, and here's the thing. I believe as a fan, you should support what your coach has and what he tells you is what he's going to do as far as who starts, etc. And a lot of that comes back down to the fact that we don't get to go to practice every day. We don't know what's going on completely behind the scenes. We see what we see under the lights, and that's it. And the stuff that's put out there. But when there is I could tell when Trevor Lawrence went in and the huddle perked up. And Uiagalelei, when he would go in, when Kelly Bryant would go in, they'd look at him like, oh, you're silly. You could just tell at some point. Deshaun Watson over Cole Stout. Clemson fans remember that. They need to trade Christian McCaffrey right now. Right now. Needs to happen. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Someone asked about, we're going to look at some quarterback battles in a moment, but the coach's hot seat, there's a website called coacheshotseat.com. Go and check it out. And they talk about jobs that they rate each coach, basically. And they give you the top 30 jobs that a coaching change could occur. Number one on the list is Scott Frost at Nebraska. I don't know if they want to get rid of him or not, but we shall see. That's interesting. Jeff Scott at South Florida. How many times do you think he wakes up in the morning saying, you know what? I wish I could be going to Clemson and just calling plays there. Man, it hasn't been very good going down there coaching the Bulls. Jeff Collins at Georgia Tech, who came in and everybody loved him. And I thought he was going to do good stuff there. And they have been really bad. They have back-to-back 3-win seasons. Yeah, it's not looking good there at Georgia Tech. David Shaw is at number 4. Stanford hasn't been the Stanford of old. So there's that too. Bluegrass Sports Media Online says Kentucky doesn't have to buy wins in football. Well, Kentucky hasn't played a Power 5 team outside of Louisville in forever. I mean, I guess they schedule Indiana every now and then, but yeah, your toughest game every year is Georgia. Congratulations. I mean, and they don't have the money to pay for football wins because all the money goes to the basketball team. And the $8 million that they paid John Calipari, who basically tells them, I'm not going to answer questions from you. Nope. That's how that happens. We're going to lose to, who was it they lost to this year? St. Peter. We're going to lose to St. Peter, where we have high school gyms in South Carolina that are bigger than the gym at St. Peter's, and that is not a joke. But the Big Blue Nation could not get a win over St. Peter's. Couldn't happen. Anyway. Steve Sarkeesian at Texas is at number 5. I think that's kind of a floating thing there. I don't think that's going to happen. They got to give him more than 2 years, right? Dino Babers at Syracuse. Yes, I'm buying Dino Babers is on the hot seat. He's got to go to a bowl game. Got to go to a bowl game. Also, Butch Jones at Arkansas State. I didn't even know he was coaching at Arkansas State. At number 7, Jed Fish at Arizona. They should have fired him a long time ago. Tim Albin at Ohio. Carl Durrell at Colorado. Marcus Arroyo at UNLV. Tom Allen at Indiana. Scott Loeffler at Bowling Green. I'm going through the list. I'm looking for the big names. Ken Niumatalolo from Navy. They're not going to fire him. Pat Fitzgerald at Northwestern. He'll be caught up quick. You know a name that's not on here? A name that's not on this list that should be there is Herm Edwards. I mean, he's had some issues there. You would think he would be on the list, but he's not. Neil Brown from West Virginia. They haven't been good since the Skullet left there. You guys remember the Skullet? I think he coaches at Houston now. Yeah, the skullet was great there. Not so much. Kirby's Visor asked the same question. What's worse, the Alabama offensive line or the Clemson offensive line? As of right now, I'm saying the Clemson offensive line. Colby says Sam Pittman needs a raise if he does just as well this season. Yeah. I thought that Sam Pittman was going to be a complete flop at Arkansas. And now the talking heads are saying that maybe Arkansas is a program that is on the rise. Okay. I mean, we laugh about it, but Arkansas played pretty good football last season. Papa B says, do you think Ryan Day can survive another year of no playoffs? Are you serious? Are you joking there? I mean, here's the big thing with Ryan Day. I think that Ohio State is the best team that is out of the South. Let's leave it at that. And they've got a ton of talent, and I think they're going to be really good this year. Really do. So I don't know how you could, unless they go like 2-10 or something. I don't see that happening. Bryce, Kirby's Visor says Bryce was sacked, what is it, 39 times last season. How many sacks did DJ Uiagalelei take? I don't know. I'd have to look that up, buddy. Don't know. I have to look that up. 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. And he says, oh, Kobe says, I know he wouldn't be a flop. I didn't expect him to do that well in year one. Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't know how well he was going to do either, but he's got them running a machine up there. Bible Belt says, is Ryan Day a top 25 coach? Yeah, you kind of have to agree with the way they're recruiting and everything else. Yeah, they're doing great. Brandon says, Pittman had a 9-4 season in his second season and won the Outback Bowl, but Muschamp did the exact same thing in his second season at South Carolina. I'm going to have to look up the number of sacks that Clemson's offensive line gave up last year. If it's 39 sacks on the year and they count the playoff game and the SEC championship game, that might be why that number is kind of inflated. So anyway, but as my brain slips me today, as you guys know, it is ADD on the radio. You can join us at 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400. Of course, around the world on the iHeartRadio app. Let's take a quick look here at the spring games that are coming up this weekend and why they might be important to you. Notre Dame plays at 1 o'clock tomorrow. First spring game for their new coach. So, yeah, I might want to watch some of that. Ole Miss, what's Lane Kiffin going to do? Is it going to be Jackson Dart? Which way are they going with the offense down there? That'll be on the SEC Network Plus channel tomorrow. LSU, first season under Brian Kelly. What are they going to do with their stuff that they've got questions about the offensive line? Who's going to be the guy that makes plays on the defensive line? They got all that. Other spring games tomorrow when you got Southern Cal, first game for Stinkin' Riley. Oklahoma, which they're playing their game on Sooner Sports TV. Ooh, okay. Okay. Then you got Virginia, first game for Tony Elliott. And if you want to watch a game late in the day, Washington State on the Pac-12 network. Elijah says Brian Kelly is faux cornbread. Oh, yeah, and Mike Leach's spring game is tomorrow as well. That's true. Very, very true. All right, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. We're going to look at some quarterback battles that may be coming upon us. And which coach is going to move first? We'll talk about that when we come back. Be sure to check out the blog page at foxsportsradio1400.com. Great stuff up there, including Mike Tyson beating someone in the face. If you want to watch a 55-year-old Mike Tyson knock a fool out, please go and check out the blog page, foxsportsradio1400.com. And by the way, I put stuff up there all the time. Lots of breaking news and everything else. If you want to check that out, have at it. There's great stuff up there. Also, thanks to folks downloading the podcast. Podcast is up every day, wherever you get your favorite podcast. All right, quick break. When we come back, we'll have more for you here on The Rundown. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. Brandon, I don't know how that works. You know, Cody makes a very good point there, Bluegrass Media. How do you not beat a Tennessee team that basically had walk-ons playing in the secondary? How does that happen? Yeah, Papa B, I'll give you those. Yep. See if I can find them here. Hold on. Exactly. Man, if you watch that Iron Mike, I'm calling him Iron Mike now. Thanks to Robert for helping me with that. Look, if you watch that, I mean, Tyson just beat this poor guy senseless. What a mess. The guy did deserve it. But you know what? You had to think Mike Tyson's sitting there and he's like, you know what? I'm going to catch hell for this anyway. I might as well just beat the guy in the face. The video's there. I think I shared it in the group the other day. The video is there, and it is insane with some of the stuff that I mean, he hit him hard. Is anybody watching the USFL? I mean, did anybody pick a team? Did I pick a team on the show? I can't remember. Elijah is correct. That's bad, Jay. Bad, Jay. Welcome back to the Rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. My name is Rob Sanders. We were talking during the break about about Mike Tyson knocking somebody senseless. Yeah, that's on the blog page at Fox Sports Radio 1400. All right, so we'll do some USFL picks later on. These games are hard to pick, by the way. I don't know how Las Vegas is making any money off these things. I really don't. But we'll definitely talk about that. I do want to tell you, you need to keep however you follow your sports, whether it's via Twitter, which I think is what a lot of people do, or however you follow your favorite sports, you need to keep your ear to the ground on Sunday. Sunday night from 6 to, say, 10 o'clock, there's going to be a ton of players that are going to enter the transfer portal. Why is that? Because they only have essentially a week to find a new school and move on. And a lot of these young men they may not know where their position is yet at, UCLA, Baylor, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Texas Tech, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Southern Cal. Brandon mentioned South Carolina had 7 guys leave into the transfer portal this week. You're going to have a ton this week that are going to end up in the portal. It's going to be so many that you may not be able to keep up with all of them. But trust me, the big thing that we'll be talking about on Monday here on this show, the headline before it happens, is the transfer portal is going to fill up with folks who are going to be upset because they didn't get the spot that they wanted and they went to LSU, Penn State, Utah, Colorado, Southern Cal, insert whatever Power 5 team here. They didn't get the spot they want. They're going to move somewhere else. Now, this is great for you as a college football fan, because if your team needs something, it could be out there. It could be out there, and you don't even know it yet. Don't even know it yet. Carolina Jackpot, the number one Gamecock YouTuber on the planet, says, do you think that Uiagalelei will hit the portal? No, he's been named the starter. Stop it. Stop it. Rick says Hillbilly Radio is how he follows his sports. Okay. I mean, what teams are covered on Hillbilly Radio? Is it just Tennessee or West Virginia or what? I don't know. Megan says Kirby will be sending plenty of rejected 5 stars to Clemson this week. You're welcome. Okay. I mean, I can halfway see that. I think there's going to be some quarterbacks that are going to be moving. Running backs. Not offensive line, though. There aren't going to be many offensive line folks out there. I think those big fellas, there's not a lot of them in the portal. But watch. Remember, May 1st is the drop dead day. Got to be at your new school by then, or, you can transfer all you want. There is talk of having it set up where we have 2 transfer portal periods, and I kind of think this is a good idea. The first one is like for 5 weeks. It's like 2 5-week periods. One's in the fall, one's in the spring. I think that's great. Set it up where, look, you could transfer, but you can only transfer during this set time. I think that's a good idea. Anyway, 803-978-1832, 803-978-1832. That is the number to dial if you'd like to join us here on the Rundown. Rick says Hillbilly Radio is whatever Rob Sanders talks about. Very good, sir. You win there. Brandon says South Carolina had 4 wide receivers transfer out this week. Yeah, and you know what? Of those 4 wide receivers, I think they had a combined, 15 catches between those 4 wide receivers. And I'm not throwing shade at those young fellas, but I think there was conversations in that Shane Beamer had to have that were basically saying, like, look, maybe you're not an SEC player. Maybe you should go to, I don't know, Coastal or wherever. You're not quite on the level that we need here. Maybe Shane Beamer is thinking, I need to open up some scholarship spots here because there's going to be a ton of folks that are going to be in that transfer portal, and I need to have my stuff together so I can recruit hard come Sunday night. And I can go out there and try to fill some holes that are on this Gamecock football team. Maybe he just needed some space, and he had to have conversations with these guys. And maybe that's part of it. But on the other hand, you have to worry about losing some of your guys too. Maybe that's something that's going to happen. Who knows at this juncture, man? Transfer portal is like wildfire, man. It's all over the place. You have no clue where things are going to go. Dakota says most of Tennessee's players that enter the transfer portal this year were asked to leave because of that reason that I just mentioned. Yeah. There's going to come a point where, in your first year there, you're going to have to take as many guys as you can just to fill it out. But then you got to start developing some talent. Out to the phones we go. Welcome into the Rundown. Good afternoon.
How's it going, Rob? Bluegrass Sports Media.
Hello.
So I know Tennessee fans aren't talking about our out-of-conference schedule. Why don't we call Army and see why they ducked Army and replaced him with Akron?
Respectfully, sir, I can't really have this conversation with you because Tennessee gets Alabama and Georgia every single year. Every single year.
We're talking about out-of-conference.
I don't care. Tennessee gets somewhat of a bye with me with that. And by the way, Tennessee's playing at Pitt, the defending ACC champion. They're playing at Pitt this year. And you want to talk about their out-of-conference schedule?
Yeah, and they ducked Army.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. What else do you have for the show? I can't help you with this. If playing the defending ACC champion and the fact that they get they get Georgia and Alabama every single year, and you want to mock the Tennessee schedule? They scheduled a home and home with Pitt. When's the last time Kentucky did that?
First off, Pitt lost a lot of players last year, including their star quarterback. So let's not act like they're world beaters right now.
Pitt will finish with a better record than Kentucky. They'll finish higher in the FPI. They're a better program.
Would you like to wager on that?
Yeah. What are we going to wager, sir? You might end up in the Music City Bowl with Pitt. You might. There's talk of Pitt being a dark horse contender to go to the playoff. So you really want to bite into that sandwich? You don't want to do that.
Whoever said that does not know anything about college football because they're not going to go to the playoffs.
Sure.
Secondly, Keaton Slovis is not a good quarterback. If he was, he'd be the starter at SC right now. They lost Kenny Pickett. Hold on. Under your logic, Levis didn't get the job at Penn State, but he turned out to be somewhat decent at Kentucky. So maybe a change of scenery can help. Unless it's just you just change the scenery and you go to Kentucky, right? No. Listen, Will Levis has a change of scenery and he has a supporting cast around him. He didn't lose a whole lot at Kentucky. We lost Wandale Robinson. To quote, a few offensive linemen. Let me give him credit for this. Carolina Jackspot says Kentucky ducking the rest of the Power 5 since 2005. And to use his stat, you haven't played anybody outside of the Power 5 except for Louisville. You don't schedule anyone. So I don't know. Your non-conference game last year, you almost lost to the Snake. And you're calling up here and talking about Tennessee's non-conference schedule? You guys had trouble with a SoCon team. Or maybe not the SoCon almost, anymore. Right? Yeah, you almost lost almost, right? Yeah, almost. You almost did. Yeah, but we got the win, right? And that's all that really matters. You couldn't beat a Tennessee team, though, with a walk-on secondary. I mean, they pulled people out of the stands that had mustard bottles on them. They went out there and played in the secondary, and y'all lost. What about that? First off, the walk-on didn't. There wasn't a walk-on secondary. They had scholarships. They had scholarship secondary. You don't remember that? They had a scholarship secondary. One of the worst secondaries in the SEC, but okay. And what advanced analytic were you using for that one, Rob? I don't know. Passing yards given up. So you can give up a lot of yards. How many touchdowns did they give up? I don't know. They gave up. What did they give up? They gave up 6 to you, and you still lost. How'd that work out for you? We ran for 4. Well, they gave up 6 touchdowns to you, and you still lost. Yeah, we lost. You did. That's right. Cool. Anything else? We're the second best team in the SEC East. If that's your goal in life, if that's the bar, we want to be the second best team in the SEC East. If that's your bar, then you had it for one season, sir. And you know what? Kentucky fans are going to be upset. And if they don't continue this run of being the second best team in the East, they're going to be like, man, why aren't we spending more of our bag money with the basketball team? That's what's going to come of this. Kentucky fans right now are worried about Shadon Sharp. They're not really worried about football right now. I don't know who that is. He's a kid that came to Kentucky early, right? So he was a high school kid that graduated early and came to Kentucky. He's the number 1 recruit and supposed to be in this year's class. Yep. And now he was on Kentucky's basketball team, but he didn't play any. He's actually eligible for the NBA draft. So he's going to leave Kentucky without playing a basketball game. I mean, get better bagman. What do you want from me? No, I agree. I think he should leave. If I was him, I would leave. But why not? Kentucky fans are all up in arms about it. That's because you're not a football school. You don't care about football. The average Kentucky fan, and be completely honest here, if I told you can go to the Final Four every other year or have a football team that finishes second in the SEC East, you'd take the Final Four. You wouldn't even talk about it. So you're not a football school. That's not even a question. Yeah, you're not a football school. Any school would take that. That's not true. They're Georgia fans that don't even know where their Coliseum is as far as basketball goes. They have no clue. And they would be upset if they spent an extra $1 to buy some floor wax for it if they knew that it could go to the football program to get them an extra set of tweezers to rip out nose hair. So don't come at me with that. You're not a football school, buddy. Besides Georgia, Tennessee, and Florida, what SEC East team would not take going to the Final Four every year over being second in the SEC East? South Carolina. I think they would take going to the Final Four in basketball or being second in the SEC.
You obviously don't know much about this Gamecock fan base. 80,000 fans in the stands. Your stadium doesn't hold 80,000, so you don't know much about that. They have 80,000 in the stands when they went 0-11. They still packed that stadium out. So you don't know much about that, brother. You're treading into deep water here.
No, I'm not. You'd be stupid not to take that deal.
Yeah, okay.
If you're a middling SEC program.
Well, Kentucky's been a doormat for a long time. I mean, you're having some good seasons now. We'll see how that works out.
From the doormat to the penthouse.
You're not in the penthouse. You're the second best team in the East. You'd finish fourth in the West. Congratulations.
Well, we're not in the West.
I mean, come on, man. All right, bud. I got to go to a break. I appreciate you calling.
All right, see you, Rob.
Have a good day. I can't help these Kentucky fans. Can't help them. More of the rundown in just a moment. This is Fox Sports Radio 1400. That's a good question, Joey. I got to stop that. I appreciate you telling me that, Joey. Can't let Bluegrass Sports Media take over the show. Thank you for that, Joey. I'll work on that. Can always need tips on being a better host. Football is the king, man. I'm trying to. You're not a football school, man. What the heck is that? Uh-oh. So Jacob is owed money. What? Pegan says he embarrassed me on my show. He's out of his mind. Pegan couldn't embarrass. Bring my daughter up here. She'd lay the smack down on Pegan Megan. A bump of what? Meth? The only Kentucky fan that I think has some knowledge would be our old buddy Big Barney Ross. So, I mean, he said it yesterday. Kentucky needs 3 things to win the national title: offense, defense, and special teams. He's right. So, yeah, there's that. Ooh, I got to pull up the XFL stuff. Hold on, or USFL picks. Ooh, XFL tonight. Got it. Bluegrass Sports Media has one of those shirts. We scored on Georgia. It's a very good point. Final segment of the rundown on Fox Sports Radio 1400 around the world on the iHeartRadio app. I've got USFL picks in a moment, but I've got, I pulled this stuff about quarterback battles, and I kind of wanted to get into really quick here. Where is it? And I can't find it. I got to do a better job with my notes. I print out so much stuff. It was a couple of different quarterback battles. The first one, Texas A&M, who's going to start? Is it going to be Haynes King or Max Johnson? The big one with this is that I think that Jimbo Fisher is probably going to be loyal to Haynes King, who, he got injured last season. That's why Zach Calzada went in there and did what he was, won that game over Alabama. But I wonder if Max Johnson if he doesn't get the starting job, if he doesn't go somewhere else. So that's one of the interesting quarterback battles there that I kind of wanted to throw out there. And their LSU spring game is this weekend. So, yeah, looking forward to that. That's going to be – I don't know why I want to watch the LSU spring game. I don't really like spring games. They're not very good. I mean, it's just not very good at all. So but I want to watch and see how Brian Kelly's going to have those guys out there doing their thing. I don't know why. Anyway. All right. So some USFL picks. Let's see here. The first matchup is tonight at 8:00 on the USA Network. They got games all over the place. The Michigan Panthers, who are 0-1 against the New Jersey Generals. Generals are favored by a point. I think the Michigan run game gives them the win. And see, you don't have the home field advantage. All the games are in Birmingham. So that's why these games are so hard to pick. But yeah, they're USA tonight. Take the Panthers. The Pittsburgh Maulers playing the Philadelphia Stars. Both teams are 0-1. The Stars are a 6.5-point favorite. I think there's some injuries on the side of the ball for Pittsburgh. So take the Stars to get the win there. Then you've got the Birmingham Stallions against the Houston Gamblers. That is at 7:00 tomorrow night on FS1. The Stallions are a 3-point favorite. I think the Gamblers will cover in that game. New Orleans Breakers and the Tampa Bay Bandits. That's right. The Bandits are my team. I'm picking the Bandits. Yeah, I'm going with the Bandits over the Breakers. I don't know why that's a weird name for a team, the Breakers. So there you go. So I got Tampa Bay, the Stallions, the Maulers, the Panthers. There you go. There's my picks. Brandon with a good comment there. South Carolina is bringing in Jacksonville State on their schedule. And that year, I think it's 2023, which will be next year, they have North Carolina and Clemson on their schedule. And they will have, they had Liberty on the schedule and Furman. So, but they're wanting to add Jacksonville State. And the way they're going to end up doing that is getting rid of Liberty. Liberty's coming off the schedule. So, yeah, Gamecock schedule will change next season. Colby wants to know if I think the Braves are going to win tonight. Man, I think the Braves are going to win every night. I'm still jacked up on them winning the World Series last year. So asking me about the Braves, I'm just like, yeah, they're going to win every night. Every night. Pagan Negan says, New Jersey kills me, a state with soft leadership, and even softer people call themselves the Generals. Mr. Soft Serve calling people soft. That's great. 162-0 for Jacob. Yeah, I'm shocked when the Braves lose a game. I go in thinking every year they're going to win. They're going to go 162-0. That's what I think. And then I'm shocked when they lose. Just saying. So yeah, I'm a very unbiased person when it comes to teams, but I'm not biased. I'm crazy when it comes to the Braves. I think they should go 162-0 every year. By the way, the Yankees yesterday with a cowardice move, they walked Miguel Cabrera with his 2,999. Could have gotten the 3,000th hit. And I know that baseball says they should have, you should have walked him. But hey, here's a thought. He's coming up there for his 3,000th hit. Pitch him the ball. What is wrong with you? You smooth surface people. Pitch him the ball. Elijah Allen says, how long until Hugh Freeze goes to a Power 5 team? Well, he went to Liberty to find Jesus. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how long he's going to be there. I guess once he finds Jesus and he's good to go, he'll go somewhere else. And I'm not mocking him, but, he'll end up somewhere. There are people that want him on that team. Want him to leave that team and go somewhere else. Freeze to Nebraska. Very good, Papa B. We'll see. How about this? How about Don Staley going to coach Villanova as far as the men's team? Wait, what? Throw that at you. We'll talk about that on Monday. This is The Rundown. You're listening to Fox Sports Radio 1400. It was a cowardice move there, Peggin. Pitch to the guy. Yeah, Strider did go to Clemson. He did. He was a pretty good player too. He could throw. He had a wicked curveball at Clemson. He was really good. So, all right, y'all. I appreciate y'all. We'll be doing our podcast on Sunday night. You guys want to check that out? You guys are awesome. We'll talk to you later on.